So a sub n, we're going to call that the nth term. So this is kind of like an nth term formula. So I'll write that down. If I change the n to like 5, I would be finding the fifth term. That's why we call it this, the nth term. So we can substitute any n value that I want. If I make n the 12th, like 12, then I would be looking for the 12th term. Do we understand what I'm saying? So this is the nth term formula, and it's going to be a sub 1. How do you think you pronounce this? If n is 12, that would be the 12th term. If n is 1, that would be the first term. It's just the first term of the sequence plus n minus 1. We call this the n minus 1, n minus first term, but you don't have to know that. I'll write it down, but you don't have to know that. And then times something we're going to call d, times d. The n minus 1 is just one previous index, but it's not the actual n minus 1 term. And d, we're going to say that's the common difference. So whatever we're adding every single time, that's going to be what d is. That's called the common difference, what the thing you're adding every time. And we can use this to figure out any term of the sequence without finding all the rest. Like, you know how we found the next 3 terms? Well, what if we wanted to find like 100 terms after that? We don't want to add up something 100 times. We can just use this formula, yeah. So let's take a look at something. Find, and I have to give you the sequence as well. So negative 16, negative 22, negative 28, negative 34. Maybe I'll write that here, this part. That's your d value. The common difference is d. So if I'm subtracting 6, then d equals negative 6. It's important that you get the sign of it correctly. Correct. It is a negative 6 because we're subtracting or adding a negative 6. Either way.
So we're multiplying all these by 6.
You're not multiplying because for arithmetic, you're adding or subtracting every single time. So we're subtracting 6 from every term. When we use the formula, we'll be multiplying, but that's not determining the pattern. So try not to get that confused. Yeah? When we use the formula, we will be multiplying, but here, because we're subtracting 6 every time, it's an arithmetic sequence. So d equals negative 6. How can we use our formula? If we're using that, well, because it says find an explicit formula. So to find a formula, we're going to say just a sub n, because that's the nth term. We want a formula for the nth term, for whatever term we want. What is the first term? Negative 16 plus n minus 1 times, what is d? Negative 6. So eventually we're going to plug in the n to be 29. But right now, we don't need an n. If it's a formula, we have to be able to plug something in. So we're going to leave it as n. And we can choose whatever n we want, and it'll work out. So just to simplify, I'm going to distribute that, and I'll get a sub n equals negative 16 minus 6n plus 6. Do we understand that? And then combine like terms. So it said find the common difference. That's part of our answer. Find an explicit formula. Now how do I find the 29th term? Plug in the 29. What is that? So we have negative 184 just by plugging it in. We could have subtracted 6, subtracted 6, subtracted 6, subtracted 6, and so on for 29 times or 27 times or whatever. But since we have the formula, we can just use that.